Hi everyone, December 17, 2019. I want to thank my subscriber for sending along this article, though it is a point of frustration that I guess I will have until the last day that I am here on Earth. Yes, those who refuse to take a look at what our military is doing, the technology that they are using that is causing so much havoc, so much suffering, so much death on this planet. Michael Schneider. Oh, you know, those who seem awake but will not go to those marginalized issues. Yes, those issues that may bring them, I don't know, less readers, less money, may bring them, an awful lot of insult and humiliation. Speaking the truth. Very, very upsetting. Strange things are happening in the waters along the West Coast, and the fish are starting to disappear. Starting to? They've been disappearing for a long time. Something is causing the waters just off the West Coast to heat up dramatically. Fish are dying off in staggering numbers. Birds that feed on those fish are also dying off rapidly. The scientists have discovered 15,000 holes in the ocean floor off the coast of California. Oh, and scientists don't know for certain why any of those things are happening. Unfortunately, the mainstream media is not emphasizing this crisis. The truth is, what we are facing is extremely serious. Officials have taken the unprecedented step of shutting down the federal cod fishery in Alaska for the year because of the lack of fish. We are seeing things happen that we have never seen before, and this is definitely going to affect our food supply. So why are the fish dying? Well, nobody knows for sure. But some officials are blaming the marine heat wave. So Michael then quotes King 5 News, a massive warmer than normal pool of water that forms in the Pacific Ocean off the Washington coast and up to the Gulf of Alaska may already be wreaking havoc with our weather. Yes, it's as much as 6 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. Hopefully this blob will go away soon, but that hasn't happened so far, and nobody really knows what is causing it. You can't tell me, Michael, that you haven't come across, I don't know, some information about, HAARP, weather modification, the electromagnetic frequencies that have been weaponized, that they are using to heat up oceans, to heat up the atmosphere. Or how about Fukushima? And I get blamed. Look, I've had other primary channels that have been terminated. On those channels, I had many videos about Fukushima. I am facing limitations now that, no, I can't cover everything. So for the subscribers who get pissed off at me because I'm not covering it, you cover Fukushima. You cover those subject matters that you want covered. Stop telling other people to do it. Okay, so, Michael. Oh, disappointed in you for years and years. You do have a lot of good articles on the economy, but this has got to stop. Michael Schneider, stop ignoring. Stop being one of those mainstream media reporters who really never, ever, ever crosses that line, between the civilian and military. There's a whole lot of answers out there. Whole lot. But here we have so many mainstream media reporters, experts, scientists don't know what it is. Hell, hey, scientists, not sure why any of these things are happening. Scientists, not sure why anything anymore. Science has been corrupted deliberately so that you ignore the very obvious. Thousands of holes found on seafloor off California coast. Yep. Strange round holes scooped out of the ocean floor have been uncovered along the coast of California. Some measure nearly 600 feet across, and scientists are unsure how they formed. Why do people put an awful lot of faith in scientists? They're crap today. Those scientists who have been, ringing the bells, the whistleblowers, hey, there is no climate emergency. Hey, look at the technology that we have today that could be causing an awful lot of this. Hey, they are silenced. You're not going to hear on mainstream media from those scientists, and there are far more scientists who are speaking the truth, who are coming up with answers to an awful lot. But no, we get bombarded. Mainstream media bombards us with these idiots that they call scientists and experts. Sea floor off the coast of California's Big Sur region. These strange depressions are unexplained and average 574 across, 16 feet deep. That's shallow. 15,000 smaller holes, measuring 36 feet across and 3 feet deep. Wow, really shallow. Okay, I'll bring you to a possible answer. The scientists can't seem to do it. 1/3 of the holes contain human waste, including filled trash bags, 5-gallon buckets, and a storage trunk. Okay. Before I bring you to an obvious possible answer to this, this is what the scientists, the experts are saying. So, all right. Oh. There's a theory that gases under the seafloor were bubbling up to create the holes. That was discarded. No evidence or fluid of gas venting were found. Okay. By the way, smaller holes appear to be much newer and may have been formed in recent years. Okay. Important. But best of all theories, so far, is the idea that humans might be inadvertently creating the holes with their waste. Yeah. When something drops onto the seafloor and sits there, marine life may be moving in and turning it into a home. They're turning it into a home. Okay. It could push up sediment off the seafloor. But this doesn't account for every single hole. Observations imply that marine trash is at least partly responsible for approximately 4,500, but not the full 15,000. What you gonna do? It's a mystery. Can't figure it out. Scientists don't know why. And yeah. Michael, years and years and years. Still zip, nothing, nada from you on HARP, on weather modification. Oh, I'm sorry, you're a Christian. That's right. So, that in part is the reason. Belief. Belief stops people from thinking. Okay, so what do we got here? Oh, HARP, high frequency vandalism in the sky, scheduled to be fully operational by 1998. The U.S. military's HARP transmitter is no mere auroral research project, its super powerful radio wave beam may irreparably damage the planet's atmosphere and severely disrupt our mental and physical health. Is it just one in Alaska? One HAARP facility? No. There are HAARP facilities around the world, monitored and built by Americans, but then you have the Russians, then you have the Chinese, then you have the Brazilians. Oh, there's an awful lot of them. And they are sending very powerful, dangerous, high-frequency beams into our ionosphere. And then what happens? Okay, so HAARP zaps the upper atmosphere with a focused, steerable electromagnetic beam. Put simply, the apparatus for HAARP is a refusal. Wow, sorry. What did that say here? Severely disrupt our mental. Okay. Not refusal, reversal of a radio telescope. Antennas send out signals instead of receiving. HAARP is the test run for a super powerful radio wave beaming technology that lifts areas of the ionosphere by focusing a beam and heating those areas. Electromagnetic waves then bounce back onto Earth and penetrate everything, living and dead. HAARP-induced earthquakes are shallow. They are shallow, and they usually come in around 10 kilometers. Well, isn't it interesting that those holes are also shallow? Yeah. I find it interesting. This science business. I've often referred to this document. Now, a whole lot of people think that this document was just created on the internet, and it's bullshit. It's a lie. Okay, read the document. This document is a transcript of 2 out of 3 tapes on the New World System. Tapes 1 and 2 were recorded in 1988 and are the recollections of Dr. Dunnigan, who was a student of Dr. Day, who gave this lecture in 1969. He was a professor of pediatrics at Mount Sinai Medical School in New York, but he also served as medical director of Planned Parenthood Federation of America, back when those who were founding Planned Parenthood were the crazy psychopathic eugenicists. They've died off, but there's a whole slew of them left. Okay. Yeah. Seems they are... They just keep breeding and creating more psychopaths. Dunnigan, student of Dr. Day, attended this lecture. Dr. Day starts it with, "You will take no notes. You will not have pens, pencils, paper, no recording device." He laid out what would be happening in the United States from 1969 on. And if you read this document, you will see that what was discussed in 1969, then recollected by Dunnigan in 1988, has taken place. You read the contents, just the people will have to get used to change, population control, permission to have babies, that's coming up. Redirecting the purpose of sex. Yes, it's not about having babies, it's about having fun and breaking down, the bonds of love, of, something that is actually sacred. Just have sex with anybody. Sex education as a tool of world government, tax-funded abortion, encouraging homosexuality, technology, families diminish in importance, euthanasia and the demise bill, limiting access to affordable medical care, planning the control over medicine, elimination of private doctors, new difficult to diagnose and untreatable diseases. Wow. Suppressing cancer cures, inducing heart attacks, education as a tool for accelerating onset of puberty and evolution, blending all religions, the old religions will have to go, changing the Bible through revisions of keywords, the churches will help us, restructuring education as a tool of indoctrination, more time in school, but they won't learn anything. Controlling who has access to information, schools as the hub of the community. And if you remember years ago, it was I believe my left ear suddenly closed off. I have a high-pitched tone. MSNBC, can't remember her name, but a few years ago, yes, mainstream media was coming out with promoting schools as the hub of the community, not the family, not the community itself, schools. Books would just disappear from libraries, changing laws, the encouragement of drug abuse to create a jungle atmosphere, alcohol abuse, restrictions on travel, the need for more jails, no more security, crime used to manage society, curtailment of American industrial preeminence. Wow, hasn't that happened? Shifting populations and economies, tearing at the social roots, impoverish one area, they have to move to another area to get a job. Sports as a tool of social change, sex and violence inculcated through entertainment, travel restrictions, implanted IDs, food control, weather control, know how people respond, making them do what you want. And falsified scientific research, terrorism, financial control, surveillance, televisions will watch you. Well, we didn't have televisions like that back in 1988, so isn't it interesting that Dunnigan was recollecting Dr. Day saying this in 1969? Home ownership, thing of the past, the arrival of the totalitarian global system. Let's just go down to the falsified science. And I do believe he was talking about the Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change, the international governing body, probably to come through the UN. Well, here, falsified scientific research. Scientific research data could be, and indeed has been, falsified in order to bring about desired results. The science is in. Climate change. Man is causing it. CO2 is causing it. Vaccines. The science is in. Everybody needs to get vaccinated with numerous vaccines. The science is in. And anybody who goes against the falsified scientific research, well, is destroyed, discredited, called a lunatic. But here, Dr. Day said, people don't ask the right questions. Some people are too trusting. The speaker and the audience, all being doctors of medicine, very objective, dispassionately scientific, and science being the be-all and end-all, Dr. Dunnigan was very surprised to hear this. To falsify scientific research data in that setting is like blasphemy in the church. You just don't do it. It's being done. We have renowned, highly respected editors of medical journals who have stepped down because science was being falsified. Out of all of this was to come the new international governing body, probably to come through the United Nations. Efforts would continue to give the United Nations increasing importance. People would be more and more used to the idea of relinquishing some national sovereignty, putting it in the hands of United Nations. Okay. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you have so many people who are ignorant, refusing to grow up and face the truth, which requires effort and time to do some research. That's what adults do. Michael? Okay, so, pushing up that ionosphere, the bouncing back of extremely low frequencies penetrating the earth. Think about a laser. Think about a very powerful laser. And you're aiming it, you put it on. And can that laser cause a hole in, let's say, a 2x4 that you're aiming it at? Of course it can. So think of these extremely low frequencies that come bouncing back once that power level is taken away from these high frequency beams that are shot into the ionosphere. They come bouncing back as a laser penetrating Earth. Yeah. Science ain't what science used to be. It just ain't. Atmosphere collapsing. Whole lot of articles and a whole lot of mini collapses. 2010, 2016 that I know about. And what does that mean? Well, the scientists don't know why it's happening, of course. Here, NASA, science. It's the NASA site. A puzzling collapse of Earth's upper atmosphere. Big event in our planet's atmosphere. The thermosphere recently collapsed. Wow. And they don't know why. Something is going on that we do not understand. And yet NASA knows about HAARP. Yeah. What would happen if Earth's atmosphere vanished? What would happen? It's believed that the planet is slowly losing its atmosphere bit by bit as it bleeds off into space. But what if Earth instantly lost its atmosphere all at once? It would be silent. Sound requires a medium to transmit waves. You could feel vibrations from the ground, but you wouldn't hear anything. Birds and planes fall from the sky. Although we can't see air, there's a mass that supports flying objects. The sky would turn black. It's blue because of the atmosphere. All unprotected plant and animal life on the Earth's surface would die. We can't survive long in a vacuum. The initial temperature would be higher. eardrums would pop, saliva would boil, but you wouldn't die instantly. If you held your breath, your lungs would pop, which would be the quickest, albeit most painful way to die. If you exhaled, you'd pass out in about 15 seconds and die in around 3 minutes. If you were handed an oxygen mask, you wouldn't be able to breathe. This is because your diaphragm uses the pressure difference between the air outside and inside your lungs. Rivers, lakes, oceans would boil. Solar radiation would break atmospheric water into oxygen, which would react with carbon on the earth to form carbon dioxide. The air would still be too thin to breathe. Organisms that need air to breathe would die. Fish would die. Most aquatic organisms would die. Some bacteria would survive. And no doubt, the weaponized bacteria, those created by military, would survive. Volcanoes, geothermal vents would continue to pump out carbon dioxide, other gases, to add to the water. How to survive? You build a radiation shield dome on the Earth. The dome would need a pressurized atmosphere. Build a dome under the sea. Haven't we heard that they're building these domes under the sea? Earth's magnetic field projects the atmosphere from loss due to solar radiation. Possibly a massive coronal ejection or solar storm could burn off the atmosphere. A most likely scenario is atmospheric loss due to a massive meteor impact. And if they sense that the atmosphere is collapsing, they'll come out and state, we've got a massive meteor coming. And it won't be a meteor. Oh yes, they can simulate what looks kind of like a meteor, but it doesn't really have the same characteristics. But does it matter? The masses will believe it. The masses will believe it. And then the atmosphere collapses. Why? Because of our psychopathic nut job militaries, not just US, but militaries around the world, doing this on a daily basis. And they have been for many, many years. But we have people like Michael Schneider who just refuse. He refuses to look into this. And this is what pisses me off. Because I have no doubt Michael Schneider knows full well. But he won't come out and say it because his ego doesn't let him. Because you do get regarded as just a lunatic, a crazy lunatic. Well, I guess that's just, the adverse effect of speaking the truth, and you just have to deal with it. All right, well, let's look into, Wired, yes, another mainstream media crap magazine. Russian journal, HARP could capsize planet. Now, this was a long, long time ago. But look at what Wired does. Whoever the hell the Sharon Weinberger here. Just when you think you've heard all the possible far-out theories behind the high-frequency active auroral research program HARP in Alaska, leave it to the Russians. This whole U.S.-Russian, oh, God. Duck and cover. Remember about, oh my God. Yeah, the fight, the Soviet Union, U.S. It's all a show. It's all a show. Cold War. Yeah, that was the baby boomers show. We're gonna really put on a really big show. Ed Sullivan. Duck and cover. Okay. This has been going on for a long time. The Russians and the U.S. work together. Now, Leave it to the Russians. Of course, mainstream media, they have to keep up that divide, right? The red, blue, Democrat, Republican, black, white, Christian, Jew, Russian, US, American, Russian. Yeah, oh my God, we have so many, that Hegelian dialectic that always, you have one side and the opposing side, and they're battling constantly. And those who are in power and want to stay in power keep that battle going purposefully. So, forget mind control. The Russians think HARP is a geophysical weapon that's going to capsize the planet. Yeah, Sharon, aren't you brilliant? Those Russians, scientists, analysis, the experts then, this is what they were saying. Russian and foreign analysts argue that the U.S. program is in effect a disguised idea of creation of an immensely powerful ray, a geophysical weapon, whose principle of operation is based on the use of means of influencing the processes which take place in the solid, liquid, and gaseous layers of the Earth for military purposes. And that's exactly right. That is exactly right. It is possible to control the artificially created plasmoid, localized areas of highly ionized gas, plasma, or a globular lightning in ionosphere by using lasers to shift the focal point of the areals. In other words, using enormous installations, Americans plan to bombard the sky with energy beams, which, when they are reflected from ionosphere, can return back to Earth in the form of low-frequency electromagnetic waves and penetrate everything, or anything, living, dead, ocean floors, land, induce earthquakes. Compared to, say, nuclear weapons, geophysical weapons are much, much more powerful. And if, say, the beam is sent to Britain, it can make the country dysfunctional in a matter of seconds. The most dangerous thing is that even developers cannot say with certainty what will happen to the planet and how ionosphere will react to the attack with these rays if the system is switched to the maximum power. As is known, ionosphere and the ozone layer protect the Earth from the deadly cosmic radiation. They've been blowing it up. Yeah, but you've got to get rid of your air conditioner because you're the one who is destroying the ozone. Not militaries around the world. Not the military flying their supersonic jets through the ozone. You get rid of your air conditioner. You're bad. And if you're not going to get rid of it, we're going to make sure that you don't use it very long. Yes, we've got a smart meter, and we will turn off your electricity if you use it beyond that time period that we've dictated that you can use your air conditioner. This is all coming. God, the electromagnetic cannon of the HARP system will damage ionosphere, and the cosmic radiation will be able to reach the surface of the planet. The effects of this know-how, the technology, the HARP, the beaming of these powerful rays into the ionosphere, cannot be controlled. And I do sometimes wonder if they have lost control, because what I am seeing on radar now is wow. So, even a single use of this weapon may result in so-called trigger effect, which no one will be able to stop. Earthquakes, sudden cooling on the global scale, atmospheric collapse. In the opinion of Canadian scientist Rosalie Bertell, she's now passed on, who is studying the effects of wars on the environment. Intense disturbance of ionosphere may result in a release of huge masses of free electrons, so-called electron showers. For its part, this might result in the change of electric potential of the poles and ensuing shift of the magnetic pole of the Earth. Simply speaking, the planet will capsize. So the location of the North Pole will become uncertain, and guess what? The magnetic pole is shifting. We hear a lot of channels talking about this magnetic pole shift. And they never mention the technology that many militaries are using. So when you have, let's say, one country, America, shooting these intensely powerful high-frequency beams into the ionosphere, they coming back, bouncing back as extremely low frequencies, well then add Russia, China, Brazil, many other countries that are doing exactly that. What are you going to have? You're going to have intense disturbance of the natural processes. And do you think these psychopathic nut jobs actually know what the adverse consequences would be? No, but they don't care, because they're crazy lunatics. Those of us who speak the truth are not crazy lunatics. The people who are doing this and ignoring the truth of what is going on, they're the crazy lunatics, because they don't give a shit about anything. And when you don't give a shit about anything, you're a crazy lunatic, because your, well, not carbon footprint, but your, let's call it a psychopathic footprint throughout your life, when you don't care about things, you're a danger. You're a danger to life itself. Am I exaggerating? You guys let me know. All links are below.